Welcome back, everyone. In this video, our goal is to leverage our newfound knowledge of the Region Select tool in order to copy and paste areas of our landscape that we'd like to easily duplicate. Now, beforehand, before recording this video, I went ahead and made sure I sculpted my mountain here just a little bit higher, and I painted some snow and some mud on it as well, because I want to demonstrate how when you use this copy and paste tool, you can copy over not only the height data, but also the paint data as well. Okay, let's firstly come under our landscape sculpt mode, and in our list of tools, I'm going to start off with the selection tool. And just like we did in the last video, we're going to make a selection. I'm just going to left click here and turn some of my mountain here this whitish color. That's going to be my current selection. And with that selection in place, I'm now going to come back to my list of sculpting tools, only this time, I don't want region selection tool, I want the copy and paste tool. Now you'll notice that when I select this, you'll have a little yellow box out in your landscape, and also you have in the world outliner, your landscape gizmo actor is highlighted. You may have remembered that when we created a landscape, once we created that landscape, suddenly we had this landscape gizmo actor in our world outliner, and we mentioned that we would talk about this later. This gizmo actor's purpose is for the copying and pasting of areas of our landscape. And the way you access this to truly copy and paste is under the Sculpt Region Copy and Paste tool. Okay, so we've got our selection here in place. Now we've got a list of buttons over on the left-hand side for our tool settings. I just want to make sure I check this gizmo copy and paste all layers. I was doing some testing before this video, and that's why it was unchecked. So make sure all your settings here are at their defaults, and we're going to fit gizmo to selected regions. We just selected this region right here in white. So let's fit the gizmo to the selected region. And our yellow box there is going to expand out. And then we're going to copy this data to our gizmo. And as soon as I click on this button, you're going to see kind of a pulsing mesh, if you will, take place in that yellow box. And now all I got to do is drag my gizmo over to the left or another part of my landscape. I've currently got some snap settings on. And if I do Control+V, I will paste that selection in my landscape. And you'll notice that it not only pasted the height data of my selection, but also the paint data as well. Now I'm just going to do Control-Z here and unselect that because I want to talk about a few other things that can occur. So let me just clear my region selection here and clear the gizmo data. I'm back to normal here. Let's make another selection, shall we? I'm going to go back to my list of region tools, make a selection. Here I'm going to go up and down the mountain range, all well and good. Let's go back to our region selection copy and paste tool. We will fit gizmo to selected region. We will copy the data to the gizmo. Only this time, I'm going to say that I don't want to do gizmo copy of all layers. I'm going to uncheck this. And then I'm also going to uncheck this Use Smooth Gizmo Brush. So both of those unchecked. Tool strength for this tool doesn't really matter. So you can just leave that as default. I'm going to move this over. And when I do Control-V to paste, you'll notice a couple things. One, that it did not copy over my painting because I've got this gizmo copy and paste all layers unchecked. And also, and this is probably hard to see, with this Use Smooth Gizmo Brush turned off, it'll have sharp edges for anywhere I did not select my landscape right here. Now, let me just fly around and see if I can detect any areas where there is a sharp drop off right there. Sharp drop off in my mountain range because I did not have this Use Smooth Gizmo Brush turned on. Okay, so that's all well and good to know. I'm just going to do Control Z to undo that quickly. Something else I want to do while I have this all copied to my gizmo, if I was to drag this over, say, half of my landscape actor right here and do Control V, what you'll notice is when I move the gizmo off to the side, it doesn't add landscape components to ensure that my entire selection there is copied over. It just cuts it off wherever my landscape actor cut off. So that's good to know. Do another Control Z here to undo this. Another thing to note about this is that you've got this paste mode over in your tool settings. Right now it is set to both, meaning it may raise and lower your landscape from whatever you copied. I'm just going to sink this down into my landscape a little bit. So now some of my copied selection here is below my current landscape and some of it is above. So with my paste mode set to both, if I do Control plus V to paste this selected mountain range and I move my gizmo off to the side, you'll see some of my terrain is raised and some of it is lowered. Now again, I'm seeing this sharp drop off here because I did not use a smooth gizmo brush blend here. But some of it is raised and some of it is lowered. Let me do Control Z there to undo. Now I'm going to move my gizmo back in place. Only this time I'm going to change my paste mode to raise, meaning that now if I do Control plus V to paste and move my gizmo out of the way, it made it so that only my terrain here can raise. It cannot lower from my copy and paste. Likewise, I'm just going to do Control plus Z one more time, move this back into place. If I set this to lower and do Control plus V to paste, move my gizmo out of the way, you can see how it does not paste on over anything that would raise up my terrain. Now, in order to use this copy and paste tool, we do not need to make a region selection like we just did here. So let's explore how we can do this without making a selection. I'm just going to do Control plus Z to undo my paste. I am going to clear my region selection, and you'll notice that once I do this, I've cleared out my selection of my mountain range over here. I'm also going to clear out my gizmo data, which is going to empty out all the copied data there in my gizmo. And so now the other way that I can go about making a selection here is to simply move my gizmo into place of whatever I want to copy. And note here, I could use my scale tool. I'm just hitting the space bar now, so I could expand it out this way or in any of the three cardinal directions. Also, you may have noticed that in the World Outliner, if I select my landscape gizmo actor, I can actually modify the width and height from here as well. Although I like to just do the space bar and manually move it like this. Okay, once we have that, all we need to do is copy data to the gizmo. There it's copied over. It always takes a moment. And I'm just going to move my brush on over. And now here's another handy trick too. It doesn't have to be this exact same size as my current mountain range. I've copied that data, but check this out. I'm going to hit my space bar and I am going to grab kind of in between my X and Y values here. And I'm just going to shrink this on down a little bit. I'm going to turn off my snap settings here for the scale. So there we can shrink it a little bit like that. Maybe shrink it a little bit like this. I can even rotate it like so. And then I can do Control V to paste. And now if I just move my gizmo out of the way, and of course I've got paste mode set to lower. Let me just do quick Control Z to undo that. I want to set this to both. And now if I do Control V to paste, move my gizmo out of the way, you can see that I essentially copied that mountain on over, although I did chop off the top there a little bit. That's my bad. But I've just kind of rescaled it and turned it around to create a similar looking mountain range in another area of my map. Pretty sweet, guys. That is the copy and paste tool under the landscape sculpting tools. Guys, that is going to do it all for this video. We will see you in the next one.